G'day, folks.
It's the 40-40 men's.
Woohoo! I'm Greg.
It's the men's of the 40s.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Jeff. Hey,
Yes,
we
Jeff.
have keys with our names on them.
Yeah, I put him in the right spot this time. Yeah, and we are coming to you live from Toronto. Thankfully,
Live to tape.
yeah, thankfully not using Rogers Wi-Fi because to our American fans down there, there was a massive cease of all Rogers operations on Friday, which kind of clobbered everything, and you don't realize.
For those of you who don't know, unlike the States, which has a billion different choices for like cell service and stuff, Canada, we got three.
Yeah.
And Rogers being the main one of them generally, so let's say up to a half the population probably lost with internet and cell. Oh, it's bad. It was bad.
My sister couldn't even go see the Weekend show, which was, funnily enough, in the Rogers Center. Because
the Weekend was so mad about that too.
Because think about it, how many people have phones on their tickets on their phone that you can't get in? It's crazy.
Well, I mean, you can't because like I got tickets for a concert I'm going to in August, and you can actually download tickets onto your phone.
No, that's what I'm saying is like because you couldn't.
No, but I mean when you buy them in the first place, like you could just show up and it'd be on like a GIF on your phone or whatever, right?
Yeah, and you couldn't get it.
I'm going to go see a band I've been trying to see since they've been around since I think 1998.
Just to say, oh, nice. Yeah, they're cool. Actually, they're really cool.
Which is funny because my buddy used to work at a place that they used to rehearse at. The old what do you call it? It was the one off Cherry Street. That's been so many different names.
Sound like
the docks and whatever else. So Metric used to practice there all the time. My buddy was like the guy in charge of all the booze.
Yeah.
So I'd always find out after they rehearsed. I'm like, well, you couldn't get me in there for like half an hour just to check them out? Like, I've seen bands play. I've seen Kasabian play there. I've seen, what was their name? I've seen a lot of bands.
I'll tell you later about a good story. A buddy of mine who used to practice there. But speaking of practice,
Jays need some.
Need some. My God.
Specifically,
what a bad week.
Oh man. I can kind of now understand some people. I kind of understand some people calling for Montoya's head to a point, because that's what people start to do, right? They start freaking the hell out when they start losing. Like, oh, we got to replace it. And there's the Montoya haters are always going to hate Montoya.
Yeah,
that's just the way they are.
Oh yeah.
They might. He made maybe a couple suspect moves, maybe not. Like the latest one was yesterday. Okay, not yesterday. Well, anyway, when they played on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and with the bases loaded, and couldn't drive a guy in, which is we couldn't get a sack fly. It was brutal. And then in the ninth inning, when we loaded the bases again, and they intentionally walked Gurriel to load the bases. They can bring up Matt Chapman. And everybody in these postings are like, "Oh, that Chapman, he's a strikeout artist. He's only struck out 3 times. Why would you put him like? Why would you do that? That's stupid. Why wouldn't you pinch hit Biggio? You mean the Biggio who had the bases loaded on Friday and didn't do anything?
Couldn't do anything. Yeah.
I'm just saying. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, when your team is down literally almost 4 starters. Because Barrios has the worst ERA of anybody qualifying for the ERA title.
And Kikuchi is a starter.
No Ryu.
Definitely
no Kikuchi. Gosman's got freakishly hurt. So we have literally Alek Manoah.
Yeah.
And Ross Stripling's been doing good, but he's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of one of those things that happens. And you can't just freak out about it over every little thing. It's not always Montoya's fault.
No.
Like, it's not the manager's fault all the time.
The manager can only put the pieces in. The pieces have to play.
Like, I would be more inclined at this point, and we'll get into this later, is why are the Jays so bad at drafting pitchers?
No, we're actually very good, but we always put them away in a package to get something else. Because we've actually
Well,
had.
I mean, who have we traded? We traded away Simeon Woods Richardson. We traded away Sean Reed Foley. We traded away
Mhm.
Yenzi Diaz. These are guys that are not hugely
Killer.
big. They're nuts. They're not
Sean
going to
Reed
be.
Foley played up a tiny bit, like for like 3 seconds, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Parky Casinos.
yeah, but he's not
So
going
it's
to amount to much.
you look at Tampa Bay, or
Yeah.
even look at Seattle. What they did, they basically overhauled the bullpen for the Saturday night game, and they brought in all these new arms that they hadn't used, like Matt Brash,
Mhm.
who's from Kingston, Ontario, actually, and the dude was throwing 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Then they bring in Munoz the next inning, 100 miles an hour. Like they've got these swing and miss arms, which is what we always talk about here, but we don't have young swing and miss arms.
No.
It's blight on our drafting. Like we got Tiedemann coming up, great. But guys like you look at the guys who we relied on to maybe be our backups, CJ Ike, Anthony Kay, Thomas Hatch. These three guys have sucked.
Well,
And they were our
Hatch's little experiment was horrible on the last week. Like,
yeah, 10 runs.
oh,
10 and the reason he gave up 10 runs is because we couldn't afford to take him out because we didn't have any
because I
bullpen.
had no one else. Yeah.
So we have a glut of middle infielders in our system. Our really, really good arms are all in A ball. So we have this disconnect between our young core now and the pitching that's supposed to back them up. Like we got lucky with Manoa. If we didn't get lucky with Manoa, where would we be right now?
Oh man.
I mean, he pitched a killer ball game on Saturday. He was amazing. He got into the eighth. I think he was in like the seventh inning with less than 70 pitches thrown. Like he wasn't strikeout guys; they were just hitting the ball and on the ground and getting guys out. And he made one bad pitch to Santana.
Yeah.
One, and it wasn't really that bad of a pitch. Like he wanted a little higher, but I mean it was way up there in the strike zone, and Santana just killed it. But the other thing is, I've been thinking about is Santana's a left-handed hitter, right? We wanted left-handed hitter, right? Why didn't we get in on the Santana deal?
We were going after, um, not him. Why is it John? I'm drawing a blank. The other Cleveland guy that
Benintendi?
everyone wanted. Yeah.
Well, Benintendi is going to be the best of the lot that's left. Maybe Ian Happ from the Cubs. We've talked about those guys before, left-handed bat to come in. But if you're going to make changes, right? Do we make changes off the major league roster to get what we need? Like if somebody asks for Teoscar or Lourdes,
I think we have to now. Like I
but the
think
thing
that's
is, if they do, right, that means at this point, unless we get an outfielder back in another trade, that would mean Tapia plays every day. And like he's all right. Like he gets hits, but he's not what I would consider a third outfielder. He's a fourth outfielder. That's what he is.
Yeah.
And he's doing good doing it. He's hitting like in the 280s or whatever, so he's not horrible at it. But like if I'm going to make that trade, I'm going to make another trade to get another outfielder. That's what I'd be doing. So Benintendi's a rental. You can get him for an Otto Lopez or somebody who's not a huge thing.
Yeah.
But if we're going to get a starter, maybe two. Maybe do a package with somebody where they send us a starter and an outfielder for, Lourdes, a couple prospects. Do we trade a catcher? No.
No.
Why?
I think Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I'm pretty sure that Jansen comes back this weekend and Moreno's going back down.
Yeah.
Because he's been a little overmatched in some spots. We've seen his potential. I think what it was he needed to show the front office what he can do.
Yeah.
If he could really kill it in the majors, then they maybe trade one of their catchers. But now, no, you're going to have Jansen and Kirk. Those will be your guys. Jansen will get settle everybody down. Like he's basically the leader of the club.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what everybody says, not just management, but the players are like, yeah, it's Jansen. Jansen's like the guy. So,
but I think we have to start sort of taking away everyday pieces that we have right now because they're. I mean, there's the obviously you're not going to touch Vladdy, you're not going to touch Bichette.
Um,
You,
mm,
you don't think so? We're not going to touch Springer.
I have somebody said something in one of the forums that I usually would say it's a stupid thing to say, but I don't think it is because I've been watching ever since the guy said it. Bo doesn't seem to be in it. Like he just doesn't seem to be there the way he was last year. I could be wrong. Like he's hitting okay. Like he's just okay. And another thing we'll talk about that
as you had that later
because they're both
smiling.
Well, he's not smiling, which is fine, but it's still. We'll get into it later. How much time do we have until our first break?
We got 3 minutes until the first commercial.
Watch.
Yeah. 3 minutes.
Okay, good. So we go. So Oakland, we shat the bed. We should have won those games.
We should have won those games.
Well, I would have said 2 or 3. I think we should. I think losing the first game.
Win the series. Win the series. Like that's you don't have to win every game. It's Cito Gas in baseball. Go win the series. You don't have to win every game. Just win the series.
Yeah. Now we had just done 5 games in 70 hours. Mm-hmm. Then they flew cross country.
Yeah.
Without a day off to play the next day.
Yeah.
after, and then we'll talk about this. Unfortunately, I think it was for Budzinski's daughter. I think her name was Lindsay, who unfortunately was in a horrible accident. I won't get into the details, but we'll just say she was in a tubing accident, but the tubing wasn't what caused it. Anyway, look it up. I feel so bad how that poor girl was taken, unfortunately. But I mean, you couple the Budzinski thing with its 5 games in 72 hours with the travel over there and all that. And we're at the end of 30. We're getting towards the end of 31 games in 30 days.
And
with the toughest schedule of anybody.
You can lose that first game. You can lose that first game. Just go there and be the sacrificial lamb, lose the first game, win the next 2.
Yeah. We should have won the next game. Oakland, there's no way that Cole Irvin should have been stymieing us.
Yeah.
There's just no way. It just shouldn't have happened. So there's something going on.
And now, going into Seattle was already 11 of 13 going into that. And now we've given them another 3 wins.
I think there's something like 17-3 now, or something like that in the last 20. And they've been their bullpen ERA is 120.
Wow,
over that span. All their starting pitchers have been pitching well. They've just had a good spot. But this goes to another thing I was saying in one of my posts. Because we're technically pretty much tied with Boston and Tampa Bay.
Well, I mean,
Boston and Tampa Bay fan. Well, going into this series, we were virtually tied with them. I think Tampa was a half game back,
a game and a half,
and we were tied with Boston.
A game and a half behind Boston, and a game and a half behind Boston, and a game behind Tampa. But I mean, that's
where we are now. But going into the series, it was like we were tied with Boston and a half with Tampa Bay. They were down, right?
Yeah.
So a virtual tie, right?
Yeah.
Now, are the Boston and Tampa Bay fans crapping the bed right now?
Well, the Tampa Bay.
Are they calling for Alex Cora's head?
I was going to say that the Tampa Bay fan is fine with his team. The Boston fans are just yelling because they're just from Boston. They're just yelling about everything.
But
they're still lamenting Tom Brady. The fact that he's in Tampa Bay now. Oh my God! Tampa Bay. Oh my! Is it just me? Or is that a coincidence?
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's I don't think their fans are shitting all over everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I will say this again, because I'm sure I've said this before. Baseball's a long fucking season. Sorry, Mark.
I'll edit that one. I'll catch that.
It's a long, bloody season.
14:45, okay? Just so I remember.
You are going to have good and bad times. It's going to happen no matter what team you are. Yeah. The Yankees, I guarantee you, are going to go into a slump at some point. Somebody's going to get hurt. It's the inevitability of baseball.
They are on fire right now. They are 16 ahead.
Calm down. Yeah, we're not going to. Don't look at the AL East. We're not going to get that. We're aiming for first wild card. That's what we're aiming for. The only teams that are going to rival us right now are Seattle, Tampa, Boston,
maybe Cleveland, and probably the White Sox.
But I say
That's
this all
it.
the time. You want the Yankees to be in first, so then they don't become, douchebags and buy up everyone on the market because they're like, oh no, we're handily in first. Our
Well,
deep
they're still gonna.
pockets, we're fine.
They still want to do something about Gallo and Hicks.
Yeah.
Because Gallo is. I don't understand how Gallo still has a job. I don't. Like, he's a pretty good fielder, and he hits home runs, and he hits 160.
Yeah.
And strikes out all the time. They're looking at Benintendi. They're looking at guys. And the thing is, they have a farm system that can do it too. So that's our new theme music.
Yeah.
I think it's really dangerous. Okay, so it's actually it's letting us know that it's time for a commercial break.
All right, I'm gonna pop this out. Hey kids, do you want to be a podcast superstar like us? Host a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel or just create a video blog? The Stage 10 app can turn your computer into a production studio, adding graphics, music, and videos on the fly, as well as patching in multiple guests, some from as far away as China. Friendly staff to help you with any problems that may occur. Josh has bailed us out on many occasions, might I add. And Stage 10 allows you to broadcast simultaneously to multiple platforms and all social media sites. So if you want to be cool, Stage 10 can make you look cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Stage 10's killing it.
A script
By the way, I
helps.
told Dave that he's been killing it, and Dave's very happy with that.
Yeah, we haven't given them some
Stage 10.
feedback on some of the new stuff. It's working.
I told him
really
your
well.
feedback's coming.
Yeah.
He knows it's coming.
I usually I run into him around the
Stage.
corner all the time. Like I still see him just like, on a scooter, on a bike.
Yeah, that's Dave. Dave's a very environmentally conscious individual as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Kikuchi experiment.
Oh man.
Is it the worst signing the Jays have ever made in the history of their team?
I mean, possibly, because the money that we're paying now is ungodly compared to what it used to be, right? But I mean, you think back to what Bill Caudle. That's one that if you remember back back in that day, he was supposed to be someone that was going to be lights out, and
Shiznit.
Yeah. As soon as he got over, and that was like 86, was it 86?
No, it was like 85.
85? Yeah. And yeah, never played a game for the Jays. Like he was injured.
No, he did.
Oh, but like
he played.
He was injured.
But not many.
Yeah, he was like just injury, like maybe like 20 games tops.
Now there's the other one I would put up there would be the Ken Daly signing of 1990.
Oh, wow, that's
Ken Daly.
I had literally forgotten
about
that.
Yeah, we signed him for 3 years and $9 million. So it was $3 million a year or something like that he was getting, which was a ridiculous amount of money for a reliever these days. But Daly was good.
Yeah.
And he pitched 10 innings for us because he got vertigo and never played again. It was like what, and around that time it was when Pat Gillick was running the team. They used to call him Stan Pat Gillick.
Yeah.
And they had a thing running in the papers about how many days it had been since he'd made a trade.
Mm-hmm.
It got up to like 500 and some odd days or something like that, like a ridiculous amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
But Gillick obviously did it the right way because then he made the trade, which turned the team around, getting us Alomar
and Carter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Fernandez and McGriff that went in that one, two beloved Jays icons, and then bringing.
We ended up getting Fernandez back 2 more times.
Yeah.
So, but Kikuchi, I mean, we got 3 years to deal with this, but I did hear something from the boys over at The Letters, from Arden Zwelling and Ben Nicholson-Smith, that I did not know. And I actually have to do an apology post in one of my fan forum groups because I'm not one of those people who'll like say I was right all the time and then when I'm wrong just kind of go, I'm not going to do that. Okay. I didn't know this, but if a pitcher on a major league contract like Kikuchi's agrees to be optioned to AAA, he can be.
But it has to be his
I
decision.
thought a major league contract basically guaranteed your spot and you didn't have to go anywhere. Apparently, that's not true.
Well, I mean, if you say no, then you will just be waived, right? Like, so that's what it'll be. You don't get sent down, but you have to agree to go down. So you are
they'd have to
DFA
right
in a sense. Yeah,
they'd have to DFA him, and if they DFA him, somebody might pick him up. I don't know, maybe that's the other thing. Would anybody pick up Kikuchi?
I mean, he seemed to
for
be
the
fine
remainder
in
of that
Seattle.
contract because basically he's still owed. They worked at about $24 million. It was a front-loaded contract. It was $16 million this year and then 10 and 10 for the next two.
Mm-hmm.
So you've already got half the season gone. $8 million. So you'll get $28 million left for Kikuchi.
Yeah.
Now, can we save him? Maybe. Like they did put him on the Phantom IL, like we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a neck strain, apparently. A neck strain,
and that is because someone in the clubhouse went, "Why the hell can't you hit the strike zone?"
No, it's from whipping back, watching all the balls getting hit.
Could be, yeah.
Home runs being flying out of the park.
It's whiplash, home run whiplash.
He is up there right now with one of the worst signings we've ever done. I can't think of any, honestly, that are this bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm a big fan of Shapiro and Atkins. I am. There's a lot of the fan base who hate them and hate Montoyo. They hate everything about them. Bring back AA. Bring back AA. We can go over this again.
Mm-hmm.
The very, very, very short version is AA decimated our farm system to make the playoffs in 15 and 16. He decimated the team. We spent the next years.
We almost won. If that game, if that Kansas City game was played in the Dome, because we wouldn't have had that how long of that break because of the rainstorm, and the Jays had built up all that momentum. Yeah, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. And
that's the thing. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
But AA would have had to do the same thing. And the thing is about Alex Anthopoulos, he's a great general manager. Obviously, won a World Series. He's not a team builder. He's a team tinkerer.
Mm-hmm.
He can receive. He's good at receiving a core team and putting
finding out what you need. Yeah, I agree.
He's not a good drafter. He's not. He just isn't.
Well,
so
I mean, like it was idiot proof him signing Vladdy as a kid, like picking up Vladdy.
Yeah.
That was idiot proof. So we'll give him at least one sort of good draft on that, and then we picked up all the rest of the kids. The major league kids in that span, right? So
exactly. Like if you look at the team we have built now, one guy was saying Shapiro and Atkins don't know how to build. It's like, let's see, they've got top 10 system now.
Yeah. Let's
see, they don't know how to make trades, or they make terrible trades, a Derek Fisher trade. I'm like, well, yeah, but then there's the Teoscar Hernandez trade.
Yeah.
Right. We got the George Springer signing.
Yeah.
There's the Matt Chapman trade. The only guy playing for Oakland right now is Kirby Snead in the bullpen. Gunnar Hogan, he could become great.
Yeah.
But we need a Chapman. You know, we've made good trades. We've made good signings. Phelps has been a great signing.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garcia, even Springer he's a bit of a slump now, but when he plays, he's really good. But
hey, I mean,
Springer is showing he is definitely has a low tolerance for pain.
They took a little flyer on Robbie Ray last year, and look what happened.
You can compare that to Kikuchi.
Yeah,
Robbie Ray was the worst pitcher for walks in baseball when they acquired him in 20, and he didn't pitch that great in 20. But then they got the time with him to do what needed to be done, and he's still doing it. Like he was killing us. Anybody who thinks we should have won yesterday's game, that we should have got more hits, wasn't watching the game.
No.
Like Robbie Ray was the Cy Young winner, Robbie Ray yesterday. And he's been like that for the past couple months. Like he didn't do well for a while, but
you can like that's the thing is like you can take a chance on a weird stat pitcher like that. Like when we picked up Marco Estrada from Milwaukee, or was it Milwaukee or
They live in
Anyway,
Milwaukee.
when we picked up Marco Estrada had given up the most home runs out of any major league pitcher. Had literally given up the most home runs, and then he turned into Mr. ERA for us. And I mean, if you wanna do it, if Marco didn't pitch in Game 3, there would never been a bat flip.
Yeah.
If you didn't save that game for us, like there would never been a bat flip.
Like, I had people still calling for Rowdy Tellez to come back after the Milwaukee series. I'm like, where would you put him?
For what?
Like, I think our fan base, a lot of them are very uninformed baseball fans.
Or they have like a someone that's sort of like barrelish or teddy bear shaped, and they just seem to sort of migrate towards that.
Yeah, they love the non-athlete.
Yeah,
they do. They love the scrappy guy. We've talked about that before too. And that's great, but you can't build an entire team of scrappy dudes.
No.
That's why Scrappy Doo worked with everybody else, including Scooby. Couldn't do it on his own. So, okay. So
we all know, what real Scooby snacks were. Everyone knows. Everyone knows what Scooby snacks were. So
yes. Okay. So the other thing, the hitting has been pretty bad this week. It's been bad. Now, I'll give them a flyer on Ray. Okay, because Ray's pitching well. I'll give them a flyer on the Seattle bullpen because they have a killer bullpen right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they should have won the game, one of those games in the middle game in Oakland for sure. I mean, they've lost 9 of 10 right now.
Yeah.
And it's everything. It's not just the hitting, it's the pitching too. But the two people I'm specifically looking at right now are Vladdy and Bo. Now, they're not having horrible seasons, but after last year, they've raised their expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Vladdy's still one of the top 2 first basemen in the American League, according to the numbers, but we've all watched him. He's not the same.
Yeah.
And I think I know why. Now, remember a week ago or 2 weeks ago, they were talking about the home run derby, and he said he wasn't going to participate because he doesn't want to screw up his wrist any more than it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, for a guy like Vladdy, wrists are really important for your swing. So if your wrist isn't right, he's turning over the ball. He hits a lot of ground balls. More like he's back to his like 2020 kind of numbers, the kind of thing. Like, he's pounding the ball into the ground a lot. Not all the time, but if he's hitting home runs, they're line drive home runs. There's none of these majestic 400
shots. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I think honestly, his wrist is worse than they think, which is why he's been getting a lot of time off of first base. I've seen Biggio there more than I've seen Vladdy in the last week.
Yeah.
And Bo his defense has been pretty good, like way better than the beginning of last. Like, he's come so far since the beginning of last year. But again, he's he has an over aggressive style to begin with, but sometimes you just can't be overly aggressive.
I was going to say, just for fun. I mean, it's because we were doing so well with the bat, for a good chunk of the time. We're actually still batting average. We're actually still 3rd in the league right now, like in throughout baseball.
And that's the thing. We can hit. We can still hit, but
hitting with people on base. Yeah,
that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Our hitting with runners in scoring position is brutal.
On
Friday alone, we were 2 for 20 with runners in scoring position on Friday. Like 2 for 100. We batted 100.
That's terrible. We were on the interstate. Okay,
good.
I was going to say, like, just for comparison, who do you think is in last place? Oakland.
Batting
on batting average. Oakland.
Oh yeah, Oakland's the worst.
Oakland is the worst
in baseball.
But they found a way to beat us.
Well, they didn't get that many hits and that many runs, but they got enough to get to kick our butt.
But that's a 209 team average.
Yeah. And like I said, we're not gonna have those high batting averages anymore. Like that for now. If you're hitting 250, you're doing pretty good these days.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that the fact that we're getting hits means we can hit, but the fact we're not getting with runners in scoring position is a bit of an issue. And it's been an issue, except for that winning streak we had. It's kind of been an issue all year.
Mm-hmm.
So why is the question? Like, Vladdy's not getting big hits. Bo's not getting big hits. Springer's had a few big hits. And this past month, since he's been on fire, Lourdes has had some big hits. And Kirk, of course. But other than that, not really. Like, Teoscar's still rounding into form from being on the disabled list. And I don't know. It's a weird thing that we can't seem to get like 3 hits in a row or something.
Yeah.
Like Robbie Ray, he walks the bases loaded. What did we end up doing? We had a strikeout. We had wasn't even a pop up. Didn't even go 5 feet off the friggin' ground that Lourdes did to the second baseman, and then strikeout. And Robbie Ray going like, he was pumped. So, how do you fix that? I'm starting to wonder if it's their approach. Now, does the approach come to them, or does the approach come to the hitting coach?
That's the trick, right? Like, I mean, they're in the cage all the time, so they're getting the reps in. But is there like a sort of like oh, don't worry, I'll get it. Like, is there possibly like just a laissez-faire attitude because they know they can hit and they're not working on something to sort of get out of the rut? Or are they, trying too much stuff that's taking away, like the comfort and the ease? Because one of the things that you have to be in the box is you got to be comfortable, because like you look and just see like the comfort. And if you're fighting it every time, and that's what you see. That's what I see a couple of guys doing. Like, it doesn't look like they actually have like the comfort level that they usually go in there, like just, sort of relaxed to swing up, because there's like 80 different things that you have to do before you can actually connect that ball.
I think honestly right now, I think they're tired.
Could be. And that's another thing.
People have been complaining about how many days off the start, like again, with the pissy Jays fans. They when every time you don't put out the A lineup, they lose their minds.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't get it. There's a reason why there's 26 players.
Yeah.
Why we have like we got 13 and 13 pitchers, 13 players. So that's 4 guys that have got to be played as well.
Mm-hmm.
Biggio being one of them, obviously. You got to keep these guys in the lineup. Give guys rest. Springer obviously needs rest. Vladdy with his wrist needs rest. Bo probably could use some rest.
Yeah.
But people just gotta give it a reset. Let's take us to the All-Star break, reset, and we'll be a second half team.
It's also kind of something to think about as well. The fact that the All-Star break is showing up, and then we actually have a lot of Jays.
No, that's the thing. We have like 4 or 5 guys who should be All-Stars for sure, but we're not still playing it as a team right now. Hitting's on, pitching's not. Pitching's on, hitting's not.
Our for the last 2 weeks, our hitting is 239, which is that's not good. RBIs, I want to just see RBIs for the last.
Look, can you look up runners in scoring position?
Yeah, give me a sec.
Well, how close are we to our next break, by the way?
We can take a break. You want to do?
Okay, you look, and I'll commercial.
All right, give me a sec. Let me get our commercial bumper in here. Using Stage 10 equipment here, folks. Stage 10 equipment.
Hey, folks. So, here we are on the platform that is giving us the chance to bring this wonderful 40 Men podcast to you. It is 365sportscast.com. You can check them out to have podcasts on all of your favorite teams. Again, the number one show is the Stratomatic Baseball. So if you do like stats and things like that, go to the Stratomatic guys, and they're absolutely amazing. This is a New York City-based sportscast. We are the only Canadians on this sportscast. So please Like and subscribe us at other venues. Listen to us at 5 p.m. on Sundays is our 40 man time. After that, you can hear us in other places. But the number one place to see us for the first time, 365sportscast.com. Okay, what's next on my list of shite?
I couldn't find, but I found 47 left on base in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's
not good.
Well, it goes back again to what we were talking before. Why we were talking about runners and scoring position, why they were so bad. We discussed that. Now, what should be our priority heading into the trade deadline? And who should we give up?
Okay, well, I mean, you've bandied his name about Lourdes, and he's a great piece for anyone because he can slot in at a bunch of different spots, but he is much better as an outfielder because his arm, I think, is a little too wild. But who needs an outfielder right now? Like, everyone has at least,
well, let's throw this out there. This might help make little things a little bit different. So Lourdes and Teoscar both are free agents after next year.
Yeah.
Everybody else is under control, pretty much. Like we're gonna pretty much have the exact same team next year.
Well, Jeff, you might want to smack your mic again. Smack your mic again. It's cutting out.
How's that now?
Still
cutting out.
Yeah, still cutting out. But
that's weird because I haven't done anything to it.
Yeah.
Is it better now?
Better than it was. Still a little jumpy.
Better than it was?
Yeah.
That's just weird, man. I don't know what's going on with this stupid microphone. Now I'm going to put it right in my face. Is it better when it's in my face?
And you look like you're in a recording studio now, doing that heartfelt metal, ballad. Maybe like a Home Sweet Home.
The children, we are the ones who make it, so let's not give it.
Got it.
It's my Michael Jackson impersonation.
Hey, randomly.
Is it working now?
It totally is. It literally that that was the remedy.
Michael Jackson cured everything.
Yes. I mean, there's that old Dave Chappelle joke, right?
So anyway.
Which we can't say.
Yeah. So, Lourdes and Teoscar,
they're coming up on their
free agency after next
year. Yeah.
Okay. So, those are the guys you're going to consider trading. Plus prospects. You're not going to trade any pitching. Well, we're not going to trade any big-time AAA pitching prospects or anything like that because we don't really have anybody who's doing much of anything. The only one, position player-wise, Spencer Horowitz is having a really good season down in AAA.
Okay, yeah.
He's a first baseman. He's a left-hander. It's funny how all of our left-handed hitters are all the ones that are available are all guys who play like first base. It's weird, except for Benintendi. But everybody, like Josh Bell's a first baseman. It's kind of bizarre how we got our another lefty bat we want to get is a backup for Vladdy. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I would trade Teoscar. He's who I would trade because he's the oldest of all of them. I think he's going to be 30. Mm-hmm. His defense is still average at best. He takes weird routes to balls. He's got a decent arm. I think Lourdes should be in right field personally because Lourdes has a better arm than Teoscar does. I think Teoscar would do better in left field. I've still never understood why they're not switched, but that's me.
Yeah.
But other than that, is there any minor league players that you will not trade?
Oh no, there's no one that's sort of off the list. I mean, what's his face?
The two people on my I will not trade list.
Who's that?
Gab Moreno, don't trade him,
mm-hmm.
and Ricky Tiedemann.
Yeah,
don't trade him.
Yeah, well, that's Moreno is like figuratively like the 41st guy, like so. Yeah. I see him as a J. I see him as a J.
Not just that. He's going to be a perennial all-star. He will be. Yeah. He has that talent to do it. And if you get Kirk and him as a combo, remember I've always been pushing for a Kirk trade.
Yeah.
but I don't push for that anymore. Um, you can't take that bat out of the lineup. Like that little pug can hit, man.
Yeah.
Like Jesus. It's amazing how his bat to ball skills are unreal.
I
Like he
just,
got a hit yesterday where he twisted the bat around just to get the ball in play, and he placed it perfectly between third and short and got a single in the ninth inning. Like he just knows how to hit. His power's coming back, but and his catching isn't horrible. I don't see a lot of pass balls. His low end pitch framing is good, but that's because he's short.
yeah.
But generally he's calling like Manoah loves pitching to him. Manoah won't pitch to anybody else. So, and apparently he's now starting to talk in catcher meetings more than he used to,
Oh yeah. Okay.
which
That's
means he's
good.
getting more comfortable. He's learning the team better. So that's good.
That's good.
So if
Yeah.
you can get a tandem of Kirk and Moreno, great.
Mhm.
The only problem with that is who do you play more?
I
Because
would
our
I would
DH
that's the thing.
isn't
Is like
meant for his
I would put Moreno because I think Moreno actually is better with the glove and also has that throwout capability. Like
which means Kirk DHs more,
yeah,
which might take away DH time from other guys who need it.
yeah.
That's the thing. Like you
I'm
got to
I'm
keep Kirk's bat in the lineup somehow.
I'm actually dumbfounded because I'm going through the Buffalo roster just to see like who it because I mean Groshans was supposed to be like one of our big things and hasn't really done much to be honest with you. I'm dumbfounded we actually have Joe Biagini again.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah,
picked
we
up
got him.
Joe Biagini again. I totally forgot that.
Some goofball said we should have called him up to pitch.
Hey, I mean
What's his ERA? What's his ERA in AAA right now?
ERA and AAA. Let's have a look. 366. Nope, sorry. That's total. So 431. Yeah, not good.
I mean, he could be a decent bullpen piece. He could.
Yeah,
I don't see him as a starter. Nick Allgaier's not doing great. CJ Ike's not doing like we just don't have any pitchers that are doing anything. Like we need pitching badly.
yeah. I
So
mean,
I think when we draft now, we keep drafting middle infielders. Stop drafting middle infielders. I know they always go for the best player available. That's their usual strategy. But sometimes you just got to go with what you need, even if you know it's not going to come for 3 or 4 years. Like the amount of middle infielders, great. Let's turn them into some pitchers,
yeah.
even if it's minor
So
league deals.
we are stocked with second baseman and shortstops. We have that in like
Yeah,
nobody's business.
turn some of them into outfielders for Christ. That's the other thing we don't have a lot of is outfielders. I mean,
Yeah,
Samad Taylor's doing all right. Desan Brown would be great if he could hit, but he can't hit much yet. He's fastest guy in the whole organization from Oakville, but he's just raw with the hitting. We just I don't know, man. There just seems to be this weird gap between the majors and A ball. You know what I mean? When it
looking
comes to pitching, there's
looking
this
at
weird gap.
looking at Sean Anderson's stats, pitcher for Buffalo. Um,
Yeah, he pitched for us
yeah,
for a game.
for a game. Well, his MLB ERA is 18 because of that game, and his WHIP was 4. And that
We
like
don't like if you're relying on Casey Lawrence to make more than one start. There's trouble.
yeah,
That's bad. So we need pitching. So what starting pitcher do we get?
I don't
I
know.
think the obvious answer is we make a trade with Florida. We get Pablo Lopez out of Florida.
Mhm.
They need position players badly, young and controllable. So that's where you would see Lourdes maybe, and you would see an Otto Lopez or maybe even an Orelvis Martinez go. Like I would love to keep Orelvis and Groshans, or maybe you trade Groshans off because they're
Mhm.
one of those two guys is going to end up being who replaces Matt Chapman after Matt Chapman is gone
He's
after
gone.
next year.
Yeah. No,
We could re-sign Matt Chapman. We could maybe, but maybe we won't.
with
So
with
it's got to be one of those
Miami
two guys.
was gonna say with Miami, we got to be dealing with Jeter essentially in that, and I mean,
No, Jeter's gone.
he's gone now.
He sold off his shares. He's not part of the team.
Oh wow!
But we will be dealing with the only female general manager in the major leagues, Kim Eng.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. And she's ridiculously smart
Mm-hmm.
and ridiculously detailed in what she does. She's very well respected, and she's realizing that she needs hitting because
So
they have a lot of pitching.
So let me think about this for a second. Jeter had one job down there, and he gave away their best player to his former team, and then quit. All right, got it. On it.
Oh no! And traded their best catcher traded into Philly.
Yeah, Giancarlo Stanton is now wearing pinstripes.
Like, think about all the players they've traded away. Like, if they had them now, how good they would be.
Oh god. Well, Yelich was another one. Yelich to Milwaukee for not well that was they just let him go. The amount of pitchers that they've let go, like that outfield alone, you have Yelich and Stanton. Like the amount of home runs coming from those two, like that's insane.
Yeah, Real Muto, add him to that.
Yeah,
and catching, like, they could have been great, but
no, but
they have Jazz Chisholm Jr. at second, who's great. I think he's the starter for the All-Star game.
That's one of the coolest names too.
Yeah,
Jazz Chisholm.
That's a baseball name right there.
Yeah,
Jazz Chisholm. But that's what we need. They have a lot of pitching available. Lopez would be great. I think he's controllable because I was listening to At the Letters with Arden and Ben, and they're saying that if we're getting a pitcher, we got to look into a pitcher we get for next year too, because we don't have Ryu.
Mm-hmm.
So why not get a pitcher with some control, and give up a little bit more to get that guy with control, like we did with Barrios.
Yeah.
Like, Barrios is not going to be like this all year. He's gonna have a stellar second half because that's who he is, right? He's got a track record. There's no reason to believe that his pitching right now is indicative of what he's going to be like for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
He just isn't. But I mean, there's a reason he has an ERA of like 3.75 for his career. He's not a low 2 pitcher, but he's not a high 4 pitcher either. Mm-hmm. He's going to have games where he sucks. But he's going to have more games where he's really good.
Yeah.
So he take the good with the bad. So we need pitchers with some control.
If we have
control, comes more cost.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And like you are correct. And like one of the big pieces to give up is Gurriel, and he's become kind of expendable. Do we?
Like I said, we need another outfielder. We're going to trade him though. Because I do not go with Tapia as our third outfielder. I just don't think it works.
I mean, I like his speed, but that's about it.
Well, Jay's Journal, which I used to write for years ago, one of their writers proposed something interesting. They have 3 guys on that team that we could use. They've got Jose Quintana, as a starter. They've got David Bednar in the pen, who's been lights out. And they've got Mark Reynolds, pardon me. Mark Reynolds as an outfielder. So you send them Lourdes, you send them Orelvis, Martinez. Because remember, we're talking about Ben Cherington here, who was president of the Jays for a long time. He's worked with Shapiro and Atkins before,
and he knows
there's
system.
A good pour there. Yeah. So we can give them a package for those 3 guys that fixes doesn't fix our starting, but it adds another starter. Tennis having a great season. Mm-hmm. David Bender, all 3 of them having really good seasons. So you trade them Lourdes, Orelvis, and whoever else, Otto Lopez, Spencer Horowitz, whoever. And that's an interesting idea. I think that for a one-stop shopping, that would be where I would go. Like, not even this, because if you go to a place like Cincinnati, if we got Luis Castillo, they're going to make us take Mike Moustakas' contract.
Yeah.
And great, he's a lefty bat. He's not hitting very well right now.
Bad lefty bat, yeah.
Yeah, so it just doesn't make any sense.
And he's ancient. I mean, we've got. I mean,
in baseball,
I say ancient in baseball. Yeah, I had a correct that. But I mean, like, we've always sort of had a little knack for signing like the old hitters that for somehow can shine because it's an easier park to hit in the Dome. So
Well, you know
it
who's
could
hitting really well right now? Brandon Drury. He's out
really.
hitting and out RBIing Chapman. So one guy's like, "See, we should have kept Drury. He's better than Chapman is." But it's weird, like guys like Drury or Joe Panic, who've been doing really well, or Brad Hand even. Remember Brad Hand last year?
Yeah,
People were crapping themselves at how bad he was. He's got a 2.16 ERA, and he hasn't given up a home run in 33
yeah.
appearances so
and
far this season.
and that's the thing. It's like he was great before, had a shit
And
ton
great
here,
after.
and then great after.
So do you make a trade for him again?
I don't know.
Like he's
Because
he's available,
it's a hitter's ballpark. That's the problem, right? And like a guy like that, he
but
does serve up the
well, the
meatballs.
same thing happened to him that happened to him last year.
Yeah.
Like what's been said, it's, bullpens are so volatile. Like one guy could be a Cy Young contender one year and be a DFA the next.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. So we need to just make sure we just focus on our pitching. We don't really need the hitting right now, unless you want to get a different look with a lefty over instead of Lourdes or Teoscar, which is fine. But generally, it's going to be what you see. We just need to add some bullpen arms and a starting pitcher, and just kind of go from there.
I feel you need to vent on some Jays fans. I feel that might be coming.
Well, might it?
You down for that?
Let me see what I got here. Yeah, I like that opening. That's kind of cool. Let's see if I can find something really stupid. Because there's a lot of stupid. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Thomas Brown. See, this is what somebody in one of my Blue Jay groups said. Manoah pitched an absolute gem, but sadly our hitting once again is killing this team. We can blame the pitching all we want, but since the game against Tampa Bay when we scored 10 runs, we haven't done nothing. This team hitting is brutal.
So
this is
double,
on coaching and the
double
manager.
negative.
I'm start calling them out. That always saying the hits will come. Don't look now. Kikuchi's on the mound today. We could be out of a playoff spot come the All-Star break. Well, first of all, Kikuchi is not going to pitch on Sunday.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, we recorded this before the Sunday game, unfortunately. It's going to be a bullpen day led by...
It's theoretically Gaussman, but it's not, yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Gaussman. Hopefully we'll see Gaussman on Tuesday. They're just waiting for his ankle to get better. Like you said, thank God he was wearing high tops, or he said his ankle would have been shattered. Let's see. Pitching was fabulous, and the hitting was silent. Whatever is going on, they need to figure it out. We've gone from second place to almost last. This team is capable, so something is definitely up.
Okay, we're far away from almost last, for starters. That's a big thing. The crap part is we're still tied with the two others essentially. Like we're a game and a half out from second. We're not going to catch New York.
Playoff spot.
But we are so far from we're still above 500. We're not last.
Here's the other one. I've been saying this for a couple of years now, and that's Montoyo and Martinez are in over their heads, and this young team needs better managing. They're just really lucky they haven't had many injuries like the teams they're battling. You mean like the 7 pitchers we have on the disabled list right now? Because if they did, they'd be a long way from a playoff spot. I'm sure ownership spending huge amounts of money, much more than ever for better than this, is starting to put the heat on Shapiro and Atkins about our manager and hitting coach. And I've been hearing you for a couple months. You probably said Gibbons sucked too. They all suck, blah, blah, blah. I think Shapiro and Atkins should also take some responsibility for some of what's happening. Okay. How is the hitting coach and the manager and not the guys with the bats in their hands? Yeah. The pitching last night was awesome. Too bad they could not give him any run support. I like Chapman, but he is almost always a sure out, especially with men in scoring position, usually by strikeout, which is not true. People need, again, calm down. There's like half a season left.
Yeah.
For those of you who think that the manager's going to get fired, because that's the other thing, I couldn't find those texts right away, but I had a lot of people calling for Montoyo's head right now. And that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Why do you think Montoyo is so bad? Like, all I get people, he doesn't know how to manage and he can't take care of the team.
Well,
how is he not? Like, you see him for 3 hours a day when he's there for at least 14.
Yeah.
You don't know what he does. You don't know what injuries players have. You don't know who he has confidence, not confidence in. You don't know. So you can't make stupid comments about firing the manager if you don't have any reason to, other than the fact you don't like him.
Yeah.
And honestly, most people just don't like him because they said he's too soft. He's too soft. You know, he's been thrown out of more games this year than any other American League manager.
Yeah.
Just because he doesn't rant and rave doesn't make him a terrible manager. Why does everybody think that millennials need like a Dusty Baker, Tony La Russa type? It's stupid. They're millennials. They get butthurt easily. We have one of the youngest teams in baseball still. You know, like, this is year one of a 5 or 6 year window.
Yeah.
People freaking out about this right now when we're in a playoff spot still.
And here's
stupid.
Here's
You're
something to also think of.
You're dumb.
Here's something to also think of as well, right? Do you remember a couple of times just before we did the run in 2015, 2016, like we picked up Burley, we picked up Dickey, and all baseball pundits said that we were going to run away with the American League.
500 at the end of July.
Yeah, but they said we were going to run away with. They said that we were going to run away with the American League, and then we didn't that year. We faltered, and then the next year we did.
Exactly.
So give it a minute.
You got, yeah, exactly. These are still kids. They're still learning. Like, Kirk's 23, Bo's 23, Vladdy's 24, Vladdy's 23, Lourdes is 27, Chapman's 29, Espinal's 27, Biggio's 27.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of our position players are under 30 years old.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem. Is they're still, the league has adjusted to them, and they're still trying to make their adjustments back.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that.
All right, Jeff, we got 2 minutes, Jeff. 2 minutes, 15 seconds to be exact.
We got a commercial in too.
We've done 2.
Oh, we'll wrap up and do a commercial at the end. So next week is the last week, I think, before the All-Star break. I haven't looked at the schedule yet about who we're playing.
I'll give it to you right now.
But I do know in the second half of this baseball season, we have the easiest schedule. In the first half, we had the hardest schedule. Like we've already played Seattle, Houston, Yankees, Boston, the White Sox, Tampa Rays. We've played all these guys a lot, and we just need to do better. And they have the capabilities of it.
We got a little homestand against Philly. 2 Philly and then 4 against Kansas City. So I mean, I would like to say we get to beat up on a lesser team in Kansas City, but that was supposed to be Oakland as well. So I don't know.
If they go 4-2, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
At least I got Monday off, finally.
Yeah.
So there's that. So everybody just calm down. Still have season left. No reason to fire anybody yet. If we have the same crap at the end of the month, beginning of August, I will start jumping on that. We need to change this bandwagon, but for now,
yeah,
calm down.
It is not the All-Star break. It is a week away. We're still above 500. We're still in a wild card hunt, and we're a game and a half back from second place. So I'm fine with it.
Calm down.
All right, I think that's good enough for us this week.
Thanks, guys. Again. Catch us on 365sportscast.com or YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast from.
iHeartRadio, apparently, as well. We're on there,
and
too.
iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Let us know you love us.
Woohoo.
Woohoo.
Cheers, guys.
Have a good day. What's our time, you think?